are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tony Khan.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Hooked on Sonics. I'm one of your two hosts, Bruce, and over there is the lovely and talented and Celtics fan, tried and true, Tone Capone. We have a fantastic show for you guys this week. We're going to be reviewing Fear Factory's Genexus album from 2015 and some up and comers. Tony, we were schooled by the youngins. How do you say that band's name?
So when we got off the air last week, you had mentioned the name of the band was Måneskin, and I can honestly see why that would be. But it's actually, I believe, pronounced Måneskin. Måneskin or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
but we are reviewing Måneskin's Rush. Are You Coming?
Which, keep in mind, let's not confuse that with just the actual Rush album. This is an extended version of the Rush album with, I think, 4 or 5 bonus tracks. Well, 4 or 5 added tracks. So I'll look forward to going over that with you.
Absolutely. We also got some music news and some just libations, of course. And before we get into that, Tony, how are you?
Good evening, as always. I'm good, man. I'm actually good. It's been a bit of a rough way to go, trying to get everything going that we've had going on, but we're doing all right. We'll keep on, like I just become my motto for the end of 2023, man. Just keep on trucking. Just keep on. You got to keep on trucking through this stuff, man. I mean, no matter how ugly things get, you just keep on trucking, keep your head up, keep on moving, man. Yep. So, yeah. Other than that, I had a buddy of mine send me some really nice bourbons, handshakes of 3 different versions of a bourbon that I've never gotten to taste. I've been hunting for 4 years. And he's a good buddy of mine, my buddy Bill. I call him Mr. Moot. His wife is Miss Moot. It's a inside joke between my wife and them and us. And they are big fans of my barbecue, and we get together every once in a while and share bourbon. So he's a really good dude, man.
Cool. What have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to?
Yes, sir.
I was listening to some Sleep today. I was listening to some Boris. I was listening to who was I listening to for that? Oh, some Conan. Been really doom rum. Definitely checked out that album you gave me. Checked out some more of that Dolly Parton album, which we're going to get into what we're going to do about that later. So yeah, man, I've just been a little bit all over the place. Was out in the garage showing mom the radio. Out in the garage, we was listening to some Toby Keith and some shit like that. So that's pretty much what's been on the air for me. So
yeah. So what I'm going to use MySpace for some of the tracks that we've shared with each other for some new releases. We'll start with the elephant in the room. Guns N' Roses just came out with a new single a few days ago called "The General." Anticipation for this, high anticipation for this song. Tony, go ahead and start with your analysis of The General.
You sent me something. I think it was a link on Spotify. I do not have Spotify, so it only let me listen to a portion of it. Let's just say, from what I heard, I did not seek out to listen to the rest. All I can tell you is I don't know if this is what they intended. I don't know personally if it was why. It just seems off. The whole thing seems off. And I don't know if that was by design, but if it was, It's a no-go for me, man.
Yeah. Now, when he says off, literally nothing is synced up. Nothing makes sense. The everything on this song sucks.
I don't like, to me, it feels like it was an accidental release, like a leaked version of just a mix of everybody's take, but not synced up or something like it. Like it
Yeah,
seems really weird, man. Like,
it's
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. We have to remember that Axel has vision. Everybody's got to remember Axel has vision. So this could be by design from Axel. Okay, let's call it what it is. We
mhm.
know that he's one of those guys that has vision, and if you're not happy with it, please understand he probably don't care.
Guaranteed he doesn't care.
He's he's making money hand over fist, and I don't think, dude, this feels like somebody went into the studio, found all the takes, didn't know that they weren't synced up, hurry up and hit the fucking record button, snatched it and ran and said, here, radios, play this. This is the new Guns N' Roses. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the only way I can describe it. I'm not trying to insult the guys. I mean, the work on it didn't sound bad, but it just didn't sound connected.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, there was no redeeming qualities to this damn thing, and that hurt because I'm a huge Guns N'
Don't
Roses fan.
don't get me started, dude. I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan too. I'm not a fan of their antics, and I'm not a fan of the things that they've been through, the fighting and the fussing and all the shit that they've been in. But I am a fan. They write great music.
Yep. So we'll go on the flip side of this, and you gave me Sebastian Bach, the former lead singer from Skid Row. He just released a new single called "What Do I Got to Lose."
Dude, I thought it was money. I thought it was money. I think he sounds good. I think to some degree that song has a little bit of Skid Row vibe to it, as a matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, guitar wise, even, you know.
Yep.
So I think whoever his backing band is, they're doing great. The video was fun. His wife is still absolutely a knockout. But at the end of the day, it was a fun video, man, and I'm really happy for Sebastian. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album or seeing some more singles.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally love that song. Pleasantly surprised.
Well, dude, I'm pleasantly surprised considering, I just saw some like Facebook video of him on the Masked Singer, where
Mm-hmm.
he was like a tiki masked singer, and he vocally didn't sound strong. Like, he sounded really nasally live
Yeah,
during that. And I'm wondering if it had something to do with that big ass costume being on him.
or him trying to hide his voice a little bit.
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe you mean, yeah, you're right. Maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, I will say this, man. Of all the stuff I've heard from anybody recently, that was one of the mind blowers.
Yeah.
Because it could
And
have went either way with him, dude. That
oh,
dude,
absolutely.
that dude can be a train wreck.
Mm-hmm. It sounded fantastic. So I encourage anyone who's remotely a Skid Row fan or Sebastian Bach fan, pick that thing up because it was really good.
Definitely go check it out on YouTube. Go give
Mm-hmm.
it a listen. It's worth a listen.
Absolutely. And then thirdly, I actually sent you something early this morning, and I don't know if you actually even looked at it, but we all know I'm a huge David Lee Roth fan, and his shit is just weird, especially here lately. But he released a single a couple days ago, um,
Christmas song.
the Talking Christmas Blues.
Yeah.
I love this stupid song. Fucking love it.
This is classic Dave. This is a classic move from Dave. Once again, he's a guy with a vision, and maybe you don't understand the vision. Maybe you do. But you know what? That's David Lee Roth for you. I gotta tell you,
Yep.
I've got to give it another listen. I've got to give it another listen. I haven't decided on it yet, but I've never had any real beef with Dave other than trying to make the Van Halen stuff sound like lounge music. But
yeah. He also come out with last thing from Dave, The Shit That Killed Elvis. Fucking good song.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I've been listening to.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, sounds like a good week for both of us in music, and for the most part, man, was jamming on some good stuff.
Yeah,
it's definitely. One thing I would like to mention, I was like, I'm probably about 7 songs into that 30 song, and I may listen to the 32 songs that were part of the digital release for that Dolly Parton album. But that John Fogerty song that they did, the CCR song that they covered, man, I am such a huge fan of that song right now. Like, I'm like that's and I'm not a big CCR fan because my dad was, and I got that shit got laid on me over and over and over, kind of like the Eagles. Like, don't get me wrong, I respect them as a band, and I'm just like it was wore out to me, dude. So yeah, that one. I would almost like to see her go back into the studio and re-record "Have You Ever Seen the Rain" with him. Oh, dude, I think they'd murder it, dude. I think they'd absolutely freaking murder it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I forget the name of the song off the top of my head. I don't have the album like right next to me, but that's a fantastic, definitely in my top 3 or 5 favorite songs on that Rockstar album.
Yeah, and speaking of that Rockstar album, let's go ahead and call that out there. Sure. 50th anniversary or 50th episode is coming up, guys, and I think that this is a good chance for us to go over, me and Bruce give you our review of this 32 digital song release of Dolly Parton's Rockstar. This is a quintessential album for this time and era, and she is a legend. And I would imagine, from what I've heard from this album is doing very well. I know a few people that have picked it up myself. So I'm going to pick it up for Katie at some point in time, and that way my mom will have it too. Yeah. So yeah, it's solid, man. It's what I've heard so far on it is pretty solid. I just, like I said, there's parts that I listen to, man, and I worry about her and her age and her vocals. It's like she's up there, dude. She's a frail little thing, man. She's just a tiny little thing. But she's got a powerhouse of a voice, man. There's no doubt about that, dude. Yep. How many album releases did she have? You would know this better than I would. There's got to be tons.
I believe it is over 50.
Oh, Jesus Lord, 50 fucking albums in a lifetime.
Yep. And this is her highest charting album.
This is her highest charting album. Really?
Yep. Not her biggest selling, but her highest charting.
I'm looking forward to hearing the track that she worked on with Rob Halford, because I read an interview one time that Rob Halford was like pumped about working with her. Like, pumped, dude. And I was like, what an odd couple. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of it. I had my doubts. I'm still not a fan of the Journey song, dude. I really there's one thing I'm finding out, especially like with that and the Police song, like, no disrespect to Sting, no disrespect to Steve Perry, but she could have carried them songs on her own. The way she was singing them and the way that everything was going, she could have carried them on her own. It's nice they appeared on the track, and I wonder if she did that out of respect for them and the music. I don't see her not doing it because of that, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's really cool that she did. I just think, on a personal level, once again, no disrespect to those two, she really could have carried the track on her own. And I would be surprised to if I was stuck in like an interview situation with Steve Perry or Sting and go, what do you guys think? You guys think she could have carried? And I'm pretty sure they would have been like, oh, no doubt. So yeah.
Completely agree.
Cool. So what's happening, Captain? I'm looking forward. 50th show, man. We've done 50.
Yep.
We'll have done 50 episodes, man. We're halfway to 100.
Yeah. We're what is this, 46, 47?
This is 46, I believe.
Okay.
And what is it? Man, 46 episodes right now for all two of our listeners.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All four of our listeners.
Woot woot.
Woot woot.
But love
All
it.
right. All right, man. Well, with that being said, what you drinking this evening?
Well, I got a little something special today. I picked up red rum.
What is that?
Yeah, so this is a premium Caribbean rum infused with natural mango, pineapple, coconut, and cherry flavors. And you can drink this shit straight. You can drink this with all kinds of stuff.
What's the proof on it?
Uh, only 70 proof, but it's delicious, and it is actually red. It's not just a bottle. Definitely a good hint of cherry in this. So I originally mixed it up with some Coke, but it's almost over. My Coke's almost out, so I'm just going to drink straight red rum. So fantastic.
I love rum, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm not a big fan of flavored rums, but I have no major beef with them. I usually check them out.
Yeah.
You know, I drink Malibu every once in a blue moon. Yep, it's red. That's for sure.
All right, what are you drinking?
Well, tonight, sir, I'm actually having a shot of bourbon with you guys, one that I'm going to kind of sip on. This is one of my favorite bourbons, but I don't have the bottle up here because I don't like to bring the bottle upstairs off the rack and try to carry it downstairs. And too much can go wrong. And when you have a nice bottle, you don't want to drop it anywhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So tonight, in this fine glass right here, where I just stuck it in the fridge to chill the glass a little bit, is Rebel Cask Strength. This rings in at 120 proof.
Nice.
And its sister bottle, well, it's kind of like the Distillers Collection, Rebel Distillers Collection, and Ezra Brooks Distillers Collection. One of them, the Ezra Brooks, is really smoky, and the Rebel is more, I want to say it's more weeded, and I like a lot of weeded bourbons. This is hands down one of my probably top five. It's just a good pour, and I really don't drink anything other from that area, that distiller, other than the Rebel 100 every once in a while. But I get that in the little bottles,
Mm-hmm.
so I can truck around with them.
Yep.
Mm. What are you giving that red rum?
I'm gonna give it a good. I'm gonna give it a good 4.5. No, get 4.2. 4.2.
Rebel Cask Strength. This burns a little more than I usually like it. But I love it. 4.50.
There you go. I'll drink
There
to
it
that.
is. There it is, sir. Salute.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Well, now that you've wetted your whistle, are you ready to throw down a little bit of news stories? Do you got anything on your side?
Sir, I did not get time because I was finishing up that album right as
Okay.
we were getting ready to do the episode.
All right.
I could pull up Blabbermouth real quick and take a look for us. Let's take a look and see if I see anything coming up from our friends over there at the Blabbermouth site.
Okay.
Anything that might stick out real quick. Well, that's weird. First thing that comes up says Ozzy isn't comfortable with metal tag. I have no idea what the hell that means. You founded it. So apparently Ace Frehley did an entire 3-song set at Eddie Trunk's 40th anniversary.
Yeah, that 40th anniversary bash that went on last night was a lot of really cool people played for Eddie. Geezer Butler was there playing some Sabbath hits. Billy Sheehan was there. Ace was there. Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony were there playing some Van Halen tunes. A lot of other people. I think Lita Ford was there. So good stuff. Good
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. So, I mean, just real quick, looks like, not much. ZZ Top announces a 2024 European tour. Who's filling in on what is it, bass or guitar on that?
Bass.
Yeah, who's filling in on bass?
I have no clue.
I got to look into that.
Yeah.
New Journey band biography, Worlds Apart, now available.
Don't care.
Yeah, like there's Black Veil Brides announced an April May 2024 U.S. tour. Social Distortion announced a tour with Bad Religion. With Bad Religion, that looks good. Sum 41 announced the details of final double album. Interesting. Five Finger Death Punch announced a summer tour in Europe. A lot of talk and stuff going on around this Kerry King project that's supposed to be coming. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it's going to sound something like, got some Slayer roots in it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Other than that, man, that's where I'm at on the news. What do you got for us?
All right. We are recording on December 12th and celebrating a birthday today. The one, the only Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers Band. He's born today in 1943. Old Blue Eyes himself celebrating a birthday today. He was born 1915. Session player Reggie Young. He played with Waylon Jennings for a long time. Elvis, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard. This man is a brilliant musician. He was born in 1936, and Sheila E. Good old Sheila E. She was born in 1957. So happy birthday to all them. Charlie Pride died today. Since you're not a huge country guy, Charlie Pride, he was the first major black artist in country music. He had a ton of hit singles, but probably the most famous one he had was Kiss an Angel, Good Morning. Ike Turner died today as well, so darn. Great band leader, terrible human being. And see, two interesting releases. The Clash's Sandinista was released today in 1980, and Prince's Hit and Run was released today in 2015.
Interesting. Would that have been Prince's last album?
In 15, probably. Pretty close, anyway.
I would have to say.
What year did he die?
I don't know. Hey Siri.
Was it? Now I'm going to do it. Hey Siri. Yeah. What year did Prince die?
Prince died April 21st, 2016 at age 57 in Chanhassen.
There you go. So that's probably his last album.
That sounds like that had to be his last album.
Wow.
Wow. the more you know.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, you ready for some album reviews?
I am. Who's up?
You know what? Since I had less songs and you're way more long-winded than I am on just a normal day, I'll go ahead and go first.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it is too. All right, guys. I had Fear Factory's Genexus album. This bad boy was released in August 7th, 2015. This is a brutal album. When I say brutal, this thing is fucking savage. This is an in-your-face industrial metal. Just when you think of that genre, this is it. One of the first things that popped out to me was, fuck, these drums are great.
And you know it's messed up, dude.
I
think a lot of the drums on there were programmed.
You know, I was gonna say some of those patterns, they had to have been electric. They had to have been programmed or something. But man, it was fun.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Fear Factory has never lacked on the drumming department.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. There were 3 singles off this. Soul Hacker, Proto Mech, and Dielectric. Soul Hacker is probably my favorite song on this album. It is so good.
You'll
so
never
good.
take my soul.
Soul. Yeah. Now, true confession time. I had a hell of a time getting through this album at first. Yesterday was the first time I was actually able to sit through the entire thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't in my headspace at all.
Yeah.
I would get through like the first song, half of the second song, like, I can't. I just can't deal with this. So this is definitely, you have to be, if this isn't your go-to genre, you got to be in the mood for it. But if you are in the mood for it, you won't be disappointed. Phenomenal guitar playing. The vocals, they're good. They're not my favorite style of vocals, but there's enough normal singing in there, and it's not, you can actually still make sense of what he's saying.
Yeah.
In a lot of it. Let's see, what else was some standouts for me? Give me a second here. See, Genexus was the title track was a really good song. And Anodized.
Anodized.
Yeah, really love that song. And Church of Execution. Regenerate. I forgot. Yeah, Regenerate's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal song.
Do you know, can you guess what my favorite track is on that album?
I am going to say Battle for Utopia.
Nope.
Really? Okay.
Nope. Expiration date. Somewhere my heart beats in silence. I make my way through the violence. We're not machines. We're not made to last forever.
See, I didn't remember the lyrics.
Dude, that song is heavy, dude.
Yeah.
Heavy as far as it weighs on the soul. When you sit there and listen to that lyrically, it's like, damn, that's heavy.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a lot of great standout tracks on that album, but that track is like when it got to that and closed off the album with that, I was just like literally in tears, like, Jesus, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. I had to be in the right frame of mind to really appreciate fully this album. It's a visceral, and it's nasty. It's a nasty album. It's very clean though. It's a very clean sounding album. Very crisp. So,
and Fear Factory production hasn't always been that.
Okay.
Early albums have been a little more muddier.
Okay.
Yeah. But they've never lacked in the guitar, drums, and killer singing department. So they've always been phenomenal. The new singer, that actually that's like the second to the last album that their singer was on. I think the original singer, C. Burton Bell, him and the one of the guitar players have had some back and forth. But now that guitar player runs the band. I believe it's Dino Cazares, and their new singer, man, I think is some young kid out of Italy or something like that, Italy or Greece or something like that. And man, everybody's saying he's great. He
Huh.
sounds like a young Burton, man. It's like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't find anything really wrong with it other than for me personally, I had to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
This is probably not something I'm not going to go explore more Fear Factory stuff. I appreciated listening to this, but it's like, yeah, I'm good. But if this album came back on, sure, I'd listen to it again, but I'm not going to reach out to any more Fear Factory stuff. Now, if you give me more, sure, okay, but I'm not actively looking for it.
You know what you should do in those situations?
Hmm.
If you found yourself in a situation that you somewhat enjoy the album like you did, whenever you're going back to the situation of saying, maybe I'll listen to that again, call me.
Yeah.
Let me give you another good album by him. Because there's about 3 or 4 that really are monster stand. I'm a Fear Factory fan.
Mm-hmm.
They're not my main genre of music. They're
Mm-hmm.
not, but I am a fan, and that's why I'm taking you on this journey, dude. That's what's important to me is that you see this journey. Like there's all this other great stuff out there. Like think about when this started. When you and I started this show, I gave you Dog Fashion Disco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's like you weren't familiar with those dudes. You weren't neither hide nor hair familiar with those dudes, but you're getting the opportunity to explore other realms of music and understand, whoa, wow, there really is some cool people doing some really cool shit out there in different realms of music.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I'm not going to say that you're not musically versed. You are musically versed. You're just musically versed in other areas more so than I am. And I'm musically versed in other areas more so than you are.
No, I agree.
And you know what's a shame, dude, is no matter how old we get, we'll never get to listen to it all.
I'm working on it.
We're working on it. Our goal is to bring you every album we can until we can't.
Yeah, well, again, I mean we stumble on stuff all the time. That Måneskin, whatever they're called, I just stumbled onto them. And I'm like, I'd never in a million years would I just walk into that and say, oh yeah, check this out. It just stumbled in.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get it. I absolutely get it. So let's hear your overall review of the album and what are your top tracks?
Top tracks is going to be Soul Hacker number 1, Dielectric number 2, and number 3. I'm going to say Dielectric.
You already said Dielectric. You said, yeah, I think you mentioned that you liked Anodized as well.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
I'm a little bummed out you didn't dig that last one, man. That last one's a great closer.
I don't remember if I liked it or not. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. So, this might be an unfair rating, but I'm going to give it a solid 7. I didn't dislike this album at all. It's just not something I'm going to go back to a whole lot. And I just got to be in the mood for it.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. That's your overall take, huh?
Yep. So, okay, 7.5.
So 7.5.
Yep.
Wow, man. I figured you'd give it a little more love than that.
Because I have to ding it only because it took me almost a full week to get through it. But when I got through it, I appreciated the album. But man, it was not in my headspace this week.
Yeah, I think it's an issue of not being in your wheelhouse.
And you're probably right.
I think it's an issue of not being in your wheelhouse because like I said, I'm showing you a genre that we've never spoken of on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me wants to kind of divert that, considering an album that I'm dying for you to hear, and I'll get into reason why I'm gonna put that in your face here shortly, because I may divert your trip or may end your trip with this album. So,
okay.
With that being said, 7.5.
Yep.
7.5.
What would you give it?
It's one of my favorite Fear Factory albums. I've given it a solid 9.
Okay.
Somewhere between 8.75 and a 9.
Okay.
There are definitely some skippable tracks on there, but I find that with some of the Fear Factory stuff, but I wouldn't say I skip as many tracks on this album as there are other albums that I skip by them. So I'd give it a 9, dude. I'd give it a 9. I really, really like this album. And one of the reasons why I give it the major ding is because I can tell electronic drums, dude.
Mm.
So, and anybody worth their weight in salt can too. So 7.5. All right, homie. Well, I believe it's pronounced Måneskin. Rush, Are You Coming? And this is an extended version of the album Rush. Rush has a capital or an exclamation point at the end, so it's like Rush. With that being said, I don't know if that is a hint to the album to get done, because apparently from what I read on these guys, I think they really fared well on an Italian version of something like The Voice or American Idol type deal.
Yep.
Type thing. And I can see why. These guys are definitely talented. I'm going to say this to start off the review. The players are all there. When I say that, I mean that everybody's tight. Everybody's really good at what they do. This is a very cool group. They got a lot of groove. They got a really cool thing going on. For anybody that's not familiar with this is a hard rock poppier sound, and not really my go-to in music as well. But I would definitely say that, if you are into, more of a hard rock, friendly radio rock style thing, I don't know if these guys are on the radio, but they probably should be. This is very, to some degree, this is very radio friendly. There's an F word that flies on a couple tracks or a few tracks on here, but other than that, this is actually a pretty cool. I would say it's a pretty fairly radio friendly album. Had a few singles off of it. I can't remember exactly what those were, but let's go through the track listing. There's 22, and I apologize. This is going to take a minute. Honey, Are You Coming? I gave that an A first time listening to it, and I've only listened to it once. Valentine, track 2, I gave an A. Off My Face had a disco feel, and I gave it an A. The Driver, I gave it an A. Trust the Veer, I gave it an A. And then right here in this part of the album, things really ramp up, and I understand why, because this stuff would have probably been a little bit more radio friendly. Own My Mind. I want to say something about this track. On the original version of this album, this was the opener. I still think this should have been the opener. This is an amazing opening track. I actually like this better than the Honey, Are You Coming?
Yeah, as an opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really like that Own My Mind track. It was a standout track. I gave it an A+. Gossip. This is the one that features Tom Morello on it. Really fun track. Cool video. Really, really liked that track. I gave it an A+. Time Zone. There's a great breakdown in that song.
Yeah.
That I really, really enjoy. And I gave it an A. And at this point, the album starts doing some really crazy off and on. Some of these tracks are hits. Some of these tracks are a bit of a miss. Blah, blah, blah. This was probably my most, I did not like this track. This was not my favorite track. I don't want nothing to do with this track. I gave it a C. It was, and I think by the time I got to this point in the album, I was feeling a lot of repetition. was feeling like there was a lot of repetition in the album, and I think that's that's why I did it. We get to Babysit. I like the song, but it's a B. It's not really the great song, in my opinion. Gasoline. I really like the riff on that. I think it was really really cool. 12 Feel. I kind of dig this song, but I kind of really didn't dig this song. And I gave it a B. But the reason why I dug it was because, well, the reason why I digged it and I didn't dig it is it had a Seven Nation Army feel. It really had
Okay.
kind of a Seven Nation Army feel, and I'm like, I get the kind of anthem rock thing, man, but it didn't really go over well for me. Don't Want to Sleep. I gave that a C. Cool Kids. This was punky. This is another standout track. I gave this one an A plus. I really did like that Cool Kids track. If Not For You, I gave it a B. I mean, once again, I'm getting to the point of the album that's just wearing on me for some reason. And I think 22 tracks is a lot to take in. It just really is. Read Your Diary. I gave it an A, and I really like the drums on that. I think it was. Mark Chapman, it was cool. Track 17 there. I gave it an A. La Fine or Fine, I forget how it's pronounced. I gave it an A. Uh, so I think we get into an area where a few of these tracks are in Italian, and I think La Fine, El Dono della Vita, maybe Mamma Mia. Uh, Pretty cool idea. Gave two of those an A. Mamma Mia got a B. I really didn't care for the track. I mean, it was okay, but I didn't see anything really wrong with it. It'd probably be one that I'd listen to every once in a while, maybe skip. Supermodel. This is a standout track. Absolutely standout track. I understand why this was a single and released. This was a high up track for me, Supermodel. And the Loneliest. I give that an A plus, man. I think that was a great closer. It could have been earlier in the album, but where it's placed on the album, it really felt like a stamp.
Yeah.
Kind of like in comparison to the album that I gave you, Expiration Date really felt like a stamp on the album. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. This is the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really digged that. So, um, with 22 tracks being on here, and I rated six of those tracks somewhere below an A. I can't really say that this is a horrible album. I can't really say this is a great album. I want to say that it's a good album, and I'm having a hard time somewhere between 6.75 and 7, just because I know I'm not going to seek this album out again. But if it comes on, I'm going to go, oh, I recognize those dudes, and I'd probably let it spin depending on what the album, what the track is.
Mhm.
Other than that, I really like the fact that they're from Italy. I love foreign music, and I think that what they're doing for the poppy hard rock side of things, coming out of Italy like that, I think that's really fun, man. I would really find it cool to walk into some place like Piata. I don't know if you're familiar with those here in Columbus, but they're like Italian Chipotles, and the concept of dining there is like Italian street food, but it's I could almost see these guys being played in places like Piata. It makes sense for a younger crowd and stuff and whatnot. A couple other things I want to mention about this album that I wrote off to the side was it had an AFI feel. If you're not familiar with the band AFI, some of the direction that AFI has taken in these previous years, this kind of feels like that. There's powerful vocals on here. This guy has a lot of range and different styles that he can really pull off. Some parts of the album had a bit of a disco feel.
Mhm.
The drums were great, killer guitar and bass. I mean, like I said, once again, all the players are there. So I do think that this is a great band. If this is what their second release,
This is their first American release. I think they had 3 others in Italy
I think
before this.
I think that they could really catch on here in America, but I don't know how, when, or with, I would definitely say definitely a younger crowd, right?
Yes.
So
Well, your daughter knew of them. My
she was
oldest daughter.
she was familiar with them, and she said that she had mentioned that the Loneliest song is actually a pretty good song, and I was actually looking forward to listen to it. And then I see it's the last song on the album, and I'm going, I'm 2/3 through the album. I'm going, Jesus, I just want to get to this point. Like, so I mean, with how how the album felt that it dragged on, I'm gonna have to give this album. I can't personally give it a 7, man.
Really?
I just can't, man.
Hmm.
There's like I'm almost positive that if I went back and listened to this album over, some of those beginning tracks that I gave A's would probably end up with B's.
No, I don't believe that. I
I
don't believe it.
yeah,
They're fun.
I'm not saying that it's not
They're
a fun.
fun and they're catchy.
Listen, I'm not saying it's fun. I'm not saying it's not catchy. I'm not saying anything negative about the album. I really don't have anything super negative to say about it, other than there were points that it dragged on. It's not my main genre of music, and it's not something that I find myself going, you know what? I need to know more about these guys.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to talk foreign metal bands or foreign, rock bands of that, you know, in general, The Who would be one of those bands I'd continue to check out because I loved the first album that I heard, the one that had Wolf Totem on it.
Mm.
Church of Misery. They're out of Japan. I barely understand some of the stuff that they're singing, and they're even singing in English. And but I absolutely love it. It's not a problem with foreign music in general, but this just isn't my go-to genre, man. So I'm gonna have to give it a 6.75.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not saying it's
I
not
get
bad.
why. I get why. I
Just
get.
just for me personally, and like I said, I'm not a professional reviewer, man, but when you got 22 songs on an album, it's a lot to take in. That's a long listen, dude. That's a long listen. Now, do I think that it'd be a fun listen driving down the road listening to if you're on a long journey? You're like, say I'm coming down to see you in Tennessee and I want to show it to Katie.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, it's just not something I'm going to find myself ever going back to.
Well, you need to drive more. That's all there is to it.
No, no. What do you give the album?
I'm gonna give it. So I can't. Obviously, I'm not gonna give it a 10. Um, man, it's a really fun album though.
I'm not saying it's not. It
I
is it is definitely a fun album, and if this is your thing, jump all over it because this is good.
well, and to me, so the the first 5 tracks, "Honey, Are You Coming," "Valentine," "Off My Face," "The Driver," and Trastavere.
Tra
Sorry,
Traverse Day.
yeah, that too. Those were all the reissue bonus tracks that they put at the beginning of the album. Um, every one of those songs were absolutely really fun. I loved every one of those one of those songs. Gasoline was fantastic. If Not For You, beautiful song. Nice ballad there. The Loneliest, and of course the song they did with Tom Morello,
Gossip.
Gossip. That was a great, lyrically, that's a great song, let alone Tom Morello's.
The video is awesome.
I
The
never
video
seen the
the
video. I need
videos
to check
you
it
should when you get a chance,
out.
go
Sorry.
watch the video. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I know you did not like blah blah blah. Blah 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 was just ridiculous, and I liked it. It was
No,
just goofy. It's corny. Having said all that, I was pleasantly surprised when I actually started listening to this album, and I just enjoyed pretty much every song on this album. Um, to your point about driving, I drive a lot, so it's easy for me to get sucked into these things that are like an hour long. It doesn't bug me a bit
yeah,
because I'm just driving.
But you won't listen to Sleep's Dope Smoker.
Because it's slow. I can't do 2 hours of slow.
I get it.
So anyway, I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I'm not gonna listen to their previous stuff. I don't care that much. But I will listen to this album again, and when they put out new stuff, I'll check it out, and if I like the next thing that they put out, I'll listen to a little bit more. But I'm really looking at this album like it's a little time capsule. Like, yeah, I like this particular album. So solid 8 for me.
Okay. I could see that. I like I said, man, it just got to a point 2/3 through, it was wearing on me, and I'm like, I can't. I like, it was becoming no longer fun to listen to the album.
It was too cheerful for you.
Maybe. Maybe. All right. With that being said, man, sounds like we've got these things wrapped up, and we're going to move on to the next episode of what we will be reviewing next time around.
Yes, sir.
Since you went first on that, let's go ahead and have you go first on what you're going to give me.
Well, I had a hell of a time figuring out what I was going to give you. And I remember from our first episode where I gave you a really long album, you chastised me for it. So I'm going to try not to do that again. So I'm going, I was originally going to give you this guy's expanded edition live album, but it was too long. Even though it was really good, it was just too long. So
Dude, do me a favor.
Hmm.
After this last album, give me a break.
What?
I'm being honest with you. I don't need another long album right now.
No, I told you I wasn't giving it to you because it was long.
Okay.
Lips. You didn't listen.
No, you didn't listen.
Fucker. All right, so you are getting another really solid live album from this gentleman. And I'm going to just tell you, it's under an hour long.
Okay.
Waylon Jennings, live from Austin, Texas, 1989.
Is that available on the tube?
It is. In fact, it was recorded for Austin City Limits, so you can actually watch the performance. And I would
Waylon
actually
Jennings, live from Austin,
1989.
1989.
Yep.
All right. Okay. All right. Looks like a winner to me.
Yep.
All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to ask you an honest question.
Sir.
Do you want to put a nail in the coffin on your industrial? Because we could always come back and visit more of this. I'm sure I've got more to give you. Or would you rather I give you another album that is a little different?
Give me whatever you're giving me.
What I wanted to give you, there's obviously been a bit of a twist in that. I wanted to give you the Danzig 5 album, Black Acid Evil.
Okay.
Or Black Acid Devil.
Is that what you're giving me?
But yeah, fuck it. Danzig, Black Acid Devil. Danzig 5, Black Acid Devil. Let me make sure it's on the tube, or you got it on
got it.
Spotify? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saved. Beautiful.
So this was
It's a cool cover.
Probably the strongest. Let me see the cover.
Yeah, hold on, get back to it.
That might have been an updated cover, because the original cover had a picture of him and what looked like almost like heat vision type deal. If I remember correctly, I'm almost positive.
The only thing that kind of looks like that is that Luciferi.
No. That's not. I Luciferi was 7. That was probably one of my last favorite albums.
There you go.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
I think you I that's very there was Glenn went through this phase from 4 to 6 predominantly, where he really kind of put in some electronic sounds into his music. And 5 was the biggest point of that. That's kind of why I wanted to bring you into this journey. I know that you're familiar with Danzig, but a lot of people didn't really care for this album that I know of. Okay. Me personally, I thought it was different, obviously, but I thought it was cool to see how he can showcase. Like, people really don't understand how he really understands music. You know, look at the Black Araya albums. He can write operas. He can write orchestra pieces. You know, the guy is really good. Like, please understand that he's not just the little man that you guys think he is. And, you know, I'm telling you, the guy, this is why he is probably my favorite musician.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So with that being said, I hope you enjoy this album. This will put the stamp on your thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write down your album for next week because I really, really wanted to give you this album. And the reason why I was wanting to give you this album, I'm going to give you a bit of a clue. You're not going to know what album it is because you could never guess this in a million years. I called you and said that there was something on TV night before last, I want to say it was the 50 years of hip hop deal.
Yep.
And this thing was phenomenal what I got to see of it. But it reminded me of like some of the greatest guys in hip hop. And it's like some of them couldn't be there. And this guy, this is your only other clue. This guy passed away a few years ago, a handful of years ago. I don't want to say too long ago, but he passed away. And it was a big shock to a lot of people because, he was just this underground massive character, man. Like, and I got turned on to him through just I'll put it like a commercial. I'll leave it at that. And that would be your final hint, but you would need to know where the commercial is coming from to understand the hint. With that being said, yeah, that's I'm looking forward to giving you that album because I know that you do dig some hip hop, and I think that you would have a lot of fun with this album.
Cool. One thing I'll mention on the album that I gave you, if at all possible, if you can actually watch that, because I really want you to pick out Waylon's mannerisms, and I want you to understand his guitar work. And I can't describe his guitar tone without it sounding stupid over the air. But if you see when he's playing the guitar, you'll know it's a very distinct sound, his guitar work.
Okay.
And as you're listening to the thing, he's not always lead guitaring. His little flourishes that he puts in, and his sense of humor, and his delivery. I'm really interested to hear your opinion on all that. So
okay. Cool. Sounds good, man.
Sweet.
Other than that, I mean, if folks like what you see here, please remember to like, comment, and hit that bell down there to subscribe. With that being said, Bruce, you got anything else to say for the evening?
I love you all.
I love you all as well. With that being said, I'm Tone. That's Bruce. We are Hooked on Sonics, and we will see you guys next week.
Promise.
Peace.